Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
You are now listening to the Behind the Mic radio show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill in Champaign, Illinois. Presented by Ford of Tuscola. Here's your host, Keith Gibson.
Welcome, everybody, to Behind the Mic debut episode, presented by Ford of Tuscola. I want to welcome you to the debut show. We've got a great show planned for you. We have Spencer Patton. He'll be joining us there later for a special interview. Spencer is a current Yokohama relief pitcher for the Baystars over in Japan, former Ranger and Chicago Cub, but a World Series champion with those Chicago Cubs, and a truly gifted man. A great interview coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that coming up here in just a little bit. I'm going to have my guest host join me here in just a few minutes, and it's going to be a fast and furious first segment here with the Behind the Mic show, where we're going to talk sports in a quick, fun, fast-paced way that makes sure you get all the sports information you need, and probably some comedy too. So we're looking forward to a great show. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our great sponsors, and we'll be back Behind the Mic right here from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.
Here at Ford of Tuscola, we offer superior sales and service for our valued customers, and we are committed to serving you. Our inventory consists of a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, including the Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck. Come see why Ford is the brand that more people buy and buy again. Ford of Tuscola, Central Illinois' vehicle sales and service destination. Located on US 36 in Tuscola, Illinois. Find your dream vehicle here at Ford of Tuscola. Ready, set, let's ride.
For 11 years, the Willow Branch Kennel has been offering outstanding pet boarding services to the people of Central Illinois. We treat each of our tenants like they're members of our own family, taking them out for walks and runs and making sure they're comfortable and loved. Let us look after your furry friends. Willow Branch Kennel. Call us today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic show. As you can see, I have brought my special guest in for this week for the debut episode. It is none other than the 15-minute world champion, the great one, Sam Erwin. Sam?
Oh, Mo Money.
I couldn't find anybody else. I really couldn't find anybody else, but Sam will do for today.
Well, and you didn't finish it. Couldn't find anybody else better. And, you want the best, you get the best. And you're lucky. The rest of the world is lucky. So, hey.
Hey, you know what? What's great about this is you're all the way down in Paducah, Kentucky.
Right.
I'm here
home.
At the Seats Bar and Grill.
Home of the fat girl. Yeah. So.
John Yates will love that.
So I can't wait to get him on this. If we have a debate of 3 or 4 people,
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
So as I told everybody earlier, Sam, we've discussed while we were off camera and everything. We're gonna do this fast-paced, quick. Go over a lot of topics, a lot of sports, a lot of comedy, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So I hope everybody's got their seatbelts buckled in. Hope they got your favorite cocktail. Maybe grab some pretzels, some popcorn.
If I may, maybe just get some Crown Royal Peach, everybody. It's new, it's out there, and it's fantastic. So
you know what you call that? Cheap plug.
Yeah, cheap plug. Got to pay the bills somehow, baby.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you can also bake it, juicy. Hey, we're looking forward to it. Sam, are you ready to rock and roll? So here's what's going to happen. We're going to go 5 topics, around 3 minutes apiece. We're going to do the best we can. And we're just going to switch it up. We're going to talk about it. You aren't going to know what's coming until it switches up. That's the fun of it.
Right.
So,
and by the way, everybody watching at home, when Keith does this, that actually is 5. And with his little fingers, that doesn't mean 2.5. It is 5. So
see, starting already. Here we go.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a timer.
Ooh.
So we're going to do 3 minutes, and the first topic is NCAA basketball. Samuel, one and done, or do you have to stay 4 years? Or we're going to go straight in. What's your take on that?
I don't agree with the one and done. You and I, of course, talked many times about this. what I will say is, I think with the state of AAU basketball, I don't know how much legit coaching there is out there for these incredible athlete superstars like a Zion Williamson. Let's say nothing against those AAU coaches, but it's nice to get at least 1 year with somebody like Coach K, because that pays dividends down the road. He would learn so much in that amount of time. But in saying that, I don't know that it really helps the universities. And I'm not making fun of the University of Kentucky, even though I'm a big Florida Gator fan. But I don't see how that's really worked for them and Coach K, all these one and dones. They're in, they're out. What's the result? No titles. One in how many years?
Well,
so I don't get it. So
my question to you is, should if they get rid of the one and done or make them go to college?
Yeah.
How do you? So my question is, if you do not get drafted, should you lose your college eligibility? See, on my thought is, if you don't get drafted, you can still go to school. Right. Why should we punish kids from getting an education because they didn't get drafted to play pro ball?
Right. Of course, that's a chance they took, and they can go into the draft without an agent, I believe, right?
Right.
And then don't get drafted, they can go right back. I think it should be either get rid of it altogether, or they have to at least get, while they're there, 2 years to get a 2-year degree, maybe, major in some type of finance. At least it can help them a little bit to prepare for, hey, here's $60 million or whatever. You're going to give that to an 18-year-old kid. Could you imagine you and I at 18 years old in here? $60 million.
I can.
Oh, boy. Oh, it would have been some Ric Flair robes. We'd have been broke in a week,
Well, maybe two.
Yeah. I just say help the kids. Prepare them for life. Get them associated with financial people. Get them those, because, they're coming from absolutely nothing, a lot of them. So now here's a whole bunch of money. Of course they're going to go crazy. Do they know how to manage it? These schools need to do a better job of helping these kids for after school. Instead of using them for that 1 year, make a ton of money off of them, because as we know, these athletes aren't getting any money. And then just say, oh, good luck. And if it don't work out, because what's the average lifespan of an NBA career?
5-6 years, maybe.
If that, and
Right.
then you look at, football as well. I know we're talking about college basketball one and done, but still the pro life average career is not very long. And then what do you do after that? When you have no degree, maybe all the money's gone. It's just, I think there's a better way. And these kids can go to Europe for a year, or two, or whatever they want, and get paid to actually play. But I think it's ruining college basketball, to be honest with you.
I do. I agree with you completely that 2 years is what you have to go if you're going to go. And not just 1, 2, get an associate's, make sure they get a degree in something, and then go. But I still think if they don't get drafted, then they should be eligible to get an education. If they have the grades to get an education, go. Oh,
yeah.
There it goes.
There it is. We're going to work on that, I hope. Get something special.
Oh, don't tell me what I can do and what I can't do. I'm not very bright. That's why it's first show. Hey, second topic, NFL draft. How much is too much coverage? You've got 7 different stations, 7 different rounds, 9 different days. I'm exaggerating there, but 3 days.
Year-round. Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, should they just cover maybe the first 2 days, first 2 rounds, and go? Because that's my opinion. Cover the first 2 rounds. After the second, maybe 3 tops. But after that, doesn't really matter.
Right.
I know Tom Brady was a 7th round pick, but he didn't blossom until 3 years later.
Yeah, I would like to see what the actual ratings are, because I know they're through the roof on the first night, and where they make it the party atmosphere and all that. Because I do like it.
I think they're good at.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love it when they go to the different towns now. I think that's cool to bring it to each town, like that party they had in Philly. Are you cutting the great one off already? What is this?
I don't know. I hit something wrong. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. It's like watching a monkey with a football. I swear to God. But anyway, I think it's cool how they do that, make it a party atmosphere, get the fans involved, because that's what it should be about. But then after, like you said, after a couple of days, it really kind of starts to lose its luster. But the NFL's all about being year-round now. They want to be in the news, whether it's good or bad. They want to be on TV constantly. They want all these things where they are constantly in your mind and in your thought of, well, what's the NFL doing now? So they made it's a business, and it's constant clicks, it's constant views, and it's working. But I agree. I think after the second day, what's the point? It's just talking in circles after that. So
Bill Kuiper can only say so much.
Right. I mean, you got to look at that hair so long. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
My other thought is NFL ratings on Sundays are dropping. They haven't
Right.
been good the last couple seasons.
Right.
They're shoving so much down everybody's throats that it's too
Too much.
it's
Yeah,
too
maybe.
much. It is. And so my thought on that is do the first 2-3 rounds. Great. I know it's money, and that's all it is about, really. It's not about the kids. It's not about giving them an exposure. The guys fifth, sixth, seventh round. It's
Right.
money and sponsorship. So, all right, let's
Yeah.
move on.
Okay.
NBA dunk contest. I think we'll differ on this one, but is it even relevant anymore? I know you watched this year's. I watched this year's. I've watched the last couple of years past. Horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Show me somebody who's got some talent. Show me a superstar instead of being out there getting jumped over.
Right.
Get involved with it.
Absolutely. Well, and now if you watch this last one and the way it's been going for the last couple of years is, let's pull this rapper out of the crowd and he's going to hold the basketball for me and and it's just like, whatever happened to just focusing on the dunk, and why do we have to use mascots? And it's just like, show your athletic ability. Also, maybe try to make that dunk on the first attempt instead of the seventh attempt, because that really starts losing its luster. And like you said, give me some superstars, the people that we want to see. Get them out there. Make it, do it all for charity or something like that, where the top winner gets $1 million to his favorite charity or something like that. Or I thought about, I think it'd be kind of cool is just for something different, to bring something to it. Bring those guys that you see that like are street ball players and stuff like that do incredible dunks. Bring in the best college dunker. Make it a friggin' show of all levels. And people want to tune in.
My thought is get rid of it for 2 years, 2-3 years. Just let it go.
Right.
People won't forget about it, but they don't have to watch haphazardly dunks that guys are missing, trying 6 times and not hitting. I'm sorry, you missed the first one? You get a big fat 0.
I would think it'd be a 0. Yeah, absolutely.
You get a 0.
Well, and if you watch the whole thing, the 3-point contest was far and away better, more exciting than that.
I enjoy the skills.
Yeah, and in this league anymore, you got to think, what's the league went to? 3-pointers. Everybody shooting threes, thousands of threes.
So pretty.
And Seth Curry's one of the biggest superstars in the world, whether you like him or not. The kid can shoot, and people want to watch that. So that's working.
But he also took time to do the 3-point contest.
Exactly. So you got to get the dunkers that are, like a Vince Carter. Guy was a superstar, still did the dunk contest. Michael Jordan did the dunk contest. I'm a big LeBron fan. Where you at? Why aren't you doing dunk contest? Everybody wants to see it. Got to get them.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally on that. I think if you don't, then you just got to get rid of it and go to something else because it's not working the way it is.
No,
all right,
it's not.
Next topic. Are you ready?
I am.
This is maybe a little bit out of your realm.
Ooh.
MLB contracts. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yes, I know.
Oh, baseball. Okay.
Yes. But as much as I hate it, these contracts are also driving up ticket prices.
Yeah.
Will that ruin the game?
Yeah. Who says it already hasn't?
That's a great point. We just saw Bryce Harper sign a 13-year, $330 million contract.
Keith Gibson, you know baseball better than most people I know. What did he bat last year, and what was his home runs, RBIs?
I think it was like around 240, just shy of 40 homers, right around 100 RBIs. So, and Cub fans are going to hate me right now when I get ready and say this. Cub fans, a lot of them were, got to sign Bryce Harper. When you compare numbers to what Kyle Schwarber and Ian Happ did combined last year, it's the same exact numbers for $23 million less.
Right.
I was never on the bandwagon to sign Bryce Harper for that reason. 13 years is way too. Tell me the last time a 10-plus year contract worked out for anyone.
Albert Pujols, is a perfect example. Gave him all that big money, and what did you really get?
Nothing.
Manny Machado now with the Padres. The frigging Padres, you don't think they don't need more than him? It's like you gave him $300 million for what exactly?
A great player. I think he's a great player, but I don't think any player's worth $300 million.
No, absolutely. No, there's no way. No way. Now, does it put some people watching maybe a little bit more of San Diego Padres baseball because Manny Machado's there? Maybe. But the problem with Manny Machado is, like you said, great player. But whenever you think baseball and you think superstar, you think, put the asses in the seats. Is Manny Machado the first thing that comes to your mind?
No.
No. So now Bryce Harper, he is box office, right? Even though he had a down year, he's still, a lot of people know who he is. And I bet still nobody is worth that kind of money. And
No,
then once again, look, the last 3 years of his contract, think about that. 10 years from now, he's in the
37, 38, and 39. He's going to get paid $22 million per year.
to do nothing.
I mean, he's
They're
basically
hoping,
in my age season, so he would be my age. I mean, probably in better shape, maybe. Maybe.
rounds of shape.
It is.
So, yeah, right.
But my age, he's going to be making $22 million. I'm lucky to make $22.
It's just insane.
It's insane.
Well, and like I always said about the Yankees, before they started doing these big contracts, whatever, whenever they had the people in place, the good farm system and all that, and for the huge contracts, they were awesome. And then they started going after A-Rod and spending all that big money. What was the result? Like you said earlier, show me a 10-year contract that did anything like that.
A-Rod didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton's not going to work.
Mm-mm.
Pujols hasn't worked.
Mm-mm.
Harper's not going to work, people. I'm telling you right now, and you can mark my words, you can come back to this. 5 years from now, he will not be a Philadelphia Philly.
Let me ask you this. If you're a Philly fan and all this money's being spent on Bryce Harper, if in the next 2-3 years he wins a World Series, is that contract worth it?
No.
How many does he need to win?
At least 3.
I was going to say 7, 8?
No, but if he wins one in the next 2 or 3 years, okay, great. You still have 10 years with him.
Right.
Players don't go up
Right.
as the older they get. They regress.
Father Time is undefeated. Absolutely.
Well,
you're right. Yeah. A couple years ago, you were a rock star, and now
I was world champ a couple of years ago. Let's get that right. All right, moving on. Oh, before we move on, ticket prices. What I wanted to say about that was they keep going up. You can't take a family of 4. Heck, I can barely take my wife to a game, and she loves it. She loves going to Wrigley with me.
Yeah.
And she does. She has fun. But I mean, it's an astronomical $100 to sit 15, 20 rows up down the third base line. Then you're paying $7.50 a beer, $9.50 a beer, whatever it is at different ballparks.
The price of success, as you being a Cub fan know.
And I've told many people this, and you can mark my word, people. You can look me right now while I say this right now. I liked it better when we sucked. I'm glad we won, but I liked it better when we sucked. Things were cheaper. It was a lot more fun, and we had something to work for.
Right.
So, moving on.
Right.
Final topic of our first segment before we get to our sponsors. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Tiger, will he win another one?
Yes, he will win another major. I do believe that. And here's why. All the drama and all that stuff for the past many moons when his wife threw a 9-iron through his windshield for him being a cheating whore, and all the transgressions and all that, does a lot to the psyche. I don't necessarily feel sorry for him because he did it to himself, but a lot of things going on there. Threw him off his game, all that stuff. The back issues, you name it, the knee issues, a lot of health issues to deal with. So he had a lot going on that took him away from his actual game. And you noticed last season when he had that huge win and that crowd that followed him around was one of the greatest things I've seen. I was on vacation down in Texas and was listening on the radio. And then as it got to where like, oh my God, he's actually going to win this, had to get the nearest hotel to run in to get my room to watch the final of that because it's just epic, and no other golfer that's just me, makes me want to just hurry up and get to a TV to watch. But he showed that he still got it. Not you.
Not me.
I played with you. Awful. Worse than me. No, not really. Nobody's worse than me. But still, I think he's got the talent. He's got the talent. He's got the tools. And once he's got the mind right, he's most. Plus, this is the thing too, and you know this to be true. Yes, there's a ton of talent out there right now, and it really makes it a lot harder to win consistently these days because there's so much talent, like a Dustin Johnson, hitting the ball, damn near 400 yards, things like
Jordan
that.
Speed.
But
Sergio.
there's so many names, that are so good. But once he gets on a roll on the course and that crowd starts getting louder and louder because he's got that following, the millions. Once they start chanting his name, people start on that course, those players, how good they are, they hear those roars. They know something's happening. It distracts them. They're like, oh, shit, here comes Tiger. He still has that effect. And if he can put all 4 days together, he's still, You know.
And that's perfectly said what you just said. And that's why I'm going to disagree with you that he won't win it, because I'm not sure, even as well as he plays and with the competition level that everybody's at now, when he first started winning, I think the competition was here. Now it's kind of went up here a little bit. But I still, I mean, yeah, he won that one tournament last year. He's played decent so far this year. I just don't see him putting 4 days together in one of the majors. I just don't see it happening. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does. I enjoyed watching him just like you.
Yeah.
Glued to the TV for the first time in a long time to watch golf.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When he was winning. And
with a tear in my eye, I watched that. But here's the key to Tiger, and I've said this for a while. Day one. If he comes out day one and is at least solid or puts up a good score, the rest takes care of itself. He seems to get off to a very slow start, and I don't know if that's just because getting older and got to get loosened up or whatever, but you can't get off these slow starts. Yeah, exactly. You can't get off these slow starts and expect to win a major. If you're down 7-8 strokes after the first day, that's a tough uphill climb even for somebody like Tiger Woods. So
and me.
You got to get off to a good start.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, great first segment, Sam. Thank you. You'll join us here after a bit again as we do another whole segment. We're going to go to a quick break, get a word from our sponsors. We always want to thank our sponsors. Our main one is presented the whole show, presented by Ford of Tuscola. John, Doug, the guys all down there in Tuscola. Thank you very much. Sam, we'll catch you. Chet Lindstrom. Yes, he was. Yes. Hey, we'll catch back up with you in a little bit, Samuel, and we'll see you guys after a while. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Behind the Mic from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar.
Here at Ford of Tuscola, we offer superior sales and service for our valued customers, and we are committed to serving you. Our inventory consists of a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, including the Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck. Come see why Ford is the brand that more people buy and buy again. Ford of Tuscola, Central Illinois' vehicle sales and service destination. Located on US 36 in Tuscola, Illinois. Find your dream vehicle here at Ford of Tuscola. Ready, set, let's ride.
For 11 years, the Willow Branch Kennel has been offering outstanding pet boarding services to the people of Central Illinois. We treat each of our tenants like they're members of our own family, taking them out for walks and runs and making sure they're comfortable and loved. Let us look after your furry friends. Willow Branch Kennel. Call us today.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Behind the Mic show. I've got a great special guest here with me today, none other than current Yokohama Baystars pitcher, former major leaguer, and a World Series champion, Spencer Patton. Spencer, thanks for being with us today. We do appreciate you being here. And Spencer is a Illinois guy, played baseball in college in Illinois, high school in Illinois. Spencer, you're from Farina, South Central. That's where you went to high school at, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, and then off to SIU Edwardsville after a year at Parkland.
2 years at Parkland, yeah.
2 years at Parkland. Okay, 2 years at Parkland, off to Edwardsville, where you were 2011 Rawlings Gold Glove winner.
That's correct.
Hey, that's smooth hands.
Not many people know that.
Hey, I do research, you know. I like to do research. But then after Edwardsville, you were drafted by the Royals. We'll start there kind of today, and we do appreciate, as I said, being on here. What was it like getting drafted?
It was pretty surreal. You know, obviously as a little kid, you know, you play ball, wanting to get and, you know, be a major leaguer and play baseball and going through high school. I mean, I loved the game and knew I wanted to go to college and play. I didn't really think professional baseball was, you know, gonna happen just because I was from a small town area and I had played on summer leagues that were, you know, with guys that were amazing players. And so I just didn't know if it was in the cards for me. And then, you know, as college progressed, started getting stronger and getting better, you know, scouts coming to the games and it was kind of like, okay, this could really happen, you know, and so it was pretty exciting, but just draft day there's a lot of emotions going. You don't know, you know, my agent thought I might go between a certain amount of rounds. I got some scouts telling me they think that I might go some certain amount of rounds. And then, you know, that rounds go on and on and on. And you're like, okay, are these guys pulling my chain here or is this going to happen? And then when you find out, it's pretty surreal.
24th round to the Royals back in 2011, correct?
That's correct.
All right, 2011, yep. And then made your debut, not with the Royals, though.
Yep, not with the Royals.
You were traded to the Rangers back in September of 14, made your debut, and I had to look back because I was looking at your debut numbers. 2 innings, no hits, okay? That's a pretty solid debut for you.
I was running on pure adrenaline, I think. I think, let's see, 2 days before that, my first child was born. And so I was kind of riding the high from that. And then, what a week. I introduced my first child to the world, and then I know that I'm going to make my debut shortly after that because they told me to go home, be with my wife, have the child, and then come back to the major leagues. And so that whole week was just unbelievable.
I'm sure that's definitely something that not many people can say they can do in 1 week.
Right, yeah. My wife usually says, "You think you had it rough."
I hear the same thing. I've only got one. But what's great is you were with the Rangers, made your debut, and then almost a year, just a little over a year later, were traded to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Which I was very happy about. I know you're friends with Mr. Justin Ginsler as well as I am, and Justin helped make this the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill a reality. So thank you, Justin. Big Cub fan I am. I was very happy to see you join the Cubs, and we're very successful with the Cubs as well.
Yeah, actually, Justin was one of the first people I called, knowing how big of a Cubs fan he is, and I grew up a Cardinals fan, so we always had that rivalry amongst friends there, and I was like, he's got to be one of the first people I call because he's going to be through the roof. So yeah, he was pretty excited. But yeah, the Cubs was great. Loved the organization. Playing in Wrigley, in that historical ballpark, and playing for a manager like Joe, and playing around some of the guys in the game that are still on the Cubs and having successful careers. I mean, that was just an unbelievable experience.
What was it like coming into spring training in 16? I know I was there actually in spring training. In fact, right behind me, let me grab it. You signed the ball for me in 16.
Okay.
Not crazy as that. But it was a lot of hype. Coming off 15 there. You're in there now. You could just feel it in spring training. And as the season progressed, you got some good work in during the season and eventually got that ring.
Yeah.
Getting that ring, what was it like putting it on for the first time?
Well, I was late getting to put it on. I was already in Japan when they passed out the rings, and so I was looking forward to getting back to the States just for that reason, to get to go to Chicago and see the ring in person. And so I drove up to Chicago and went to Wrigley and was presented with the ring. And yeah, I mean, just putting it on, you just kind of get a rush of all the memories of the season and how awesome it was to be a part of that team. And even though I wasn't on the World Series roster, I remember being at home, watching the games and having watch parties at my house. And so I actually did my own champagne shower when they won, so, it just brought back all those awesome memories, and it was a very proud moment to be a part of an organization like that and part of the history behind it.
Well, I was very excited. In fact, my little one was only 4 months old at that time. And so, when she sleeps, you can't make noise. So I was screaming to a pillow the entire series, but it was it's amazing how much emotions go through, even for, a guy who's not even there, but has been a fan, all his life, die hard with my father. And, there was tears going down the face. But so, but not even, a month after the series was over, a little over a month, you went over to Yokohama and signed with them. How did that transpire?
I mean, it kind of was set in motion a little bit before all that. The team in Japan reached out to my agent and was just asking if I would be even interested in coming over to play, and because they want to know who to go after, and who to pursue, and so I kept an open mind about it. I said, I'm not going to shut it down. I would like to play Japan. I would always, I've always wanted to come over here just to at least travel, but I wasn't quite sure yet. And then after they let me know, hey, we really want you to come over and play. If the Cubs are willing to let you go, would you come over? And so after talking with my agent and my wife, and I talked to Theo Epstein on the phone, and just kind of got some understanding as to where, my position with the Cubs was going to go. And it just turned out to be the best fit for me and my family to go ahead and take the offer from Japan.
Well, you've been very successful over there as well the last couple of years. I mean, 4-3 in 17, 66 Ks and 60 innings. That's 2.7 ERA. That's pretty solid, Spencer. And then last year, 5-1 with an even lower ERA, 2.57. So it's pretty awesome. But to see you transition to there and have the success you have, because, I mean, you were very successful over here in the States as well. What is the biggest difference that you see between the two, between the NPB and Major League Baseball?
I mean, there's no place like the big leagues. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, the baseball talent over here and the style of play. I mean, it's good. I mean, the players are good. There's good talent here, lots of good players, but there's nothing like the big leagues. I mean, those guys are. I mean, they're top-notch baseball players from all over the world. So just the raw talent, I think, is the main thing in the big leagues.
So the difference you've got there's more than just you over there. I mean, because over in Japan, you're a foreign player to them.
Yeah.
Have you been able to kind of get together with some of those guys and spend some quality time with some guys from the States as well? Or do you have some guys on that are on your team from the States?
Yeah. No, I always try to get. Sorry, my phone's ringing here. I'm gonna turn.
You're all right. Your dad, number one, right?
Yeah. No, it's good. I always try to link up with foreign guys on the other team if I know them or if I have ran into them before. But yeah, I've gotten to know some of the guys that I didn't know in the States that are over here. We just kind of crossed paths through the game, and we'll always try to meet up every now and then, whether it's in spring training or if we're playing them, we'll go out to lunch or do something like that. So it's good to to have that camaraderie because you are so far from home, and there's not many of us over here. Each team's only allowed 4 guys on the major league roster. So anytime you get a chance to link up with those guys, it's kind of just reminisce on back home a little bit. So it kind of keeps your sanity a little bit, but
keeps you grounded a little bit too, I'm sure. So what other differences do you see? I mean, you have to pitch differently over there. I mean, are they more patient? What changes do you have to make?
Yeah, they're definitely not more patient. They're swinging from the get-go, which was something I had to learn real quick because in the States, guys are very selective. They're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes in the U.S. And so they're looking for one pitch, one location usually in the early at bat, and then they adjust from there. In Japan, if it's in the zone, first pitch, they're taking a swing at it.
Well, I grew up like that. If it's close, I'm swinging.
Yeah.
Probably why I'm sitting here still, but
So feeding one, belt high outer half isn't going to play here on first pitch, because they're gonna be putting it in play.
So some other things I know that you've really worked on. This is your 3rd year, correct, with Yokohama? How long you signed for?
I have this year and 1 more year left on my contract.
What do you think?
I just signed a 2-year extension.
Okay. What do you think may happen after that? Are you going to stay over there? Would you look to come back?
I mean, it's whatever's right for me and my career. My initial plan before I signed my extension over here was to come back in the States after my first 2 years and play and try to make it back to the big leagues and use my experiences in Japan and my my performance over here is kind of like a stepping stone to get back to the big leagues and perform better because I felt like I could have performed better in the States than I did in the big leagues level. But I don't know. I don't know what's in store for me after these 2 years. If we stay, we stay. If we come home, we come home. But it's got to be right.
Outside of baseball, I know you're an Illinois guy.
Yeah.
So you're a deer hunter, aren't you?
Does the beard give it away? Yeah, definitely a deer hunter.
And I know you're a family guy. You're a man of faith too, which I really think is pretty awesome because I am as well. And I see you do a lot of things. I've seen, I follow you on Twitter, things over and spread the word in Japan as well, which I think is pretty awesome. What's the one thing you miss though from being in the States that you could have on a regular basis that you can't there?
Open space. I'm like you said, I'm a small town guy, and I live out in the country, and just being able to walk out my front door and not see anybody and just be able to breathe open country air is awesome. Can't get that here.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's, that's why I like going back home. I live, we're in Champaign, and even driving 2 hours south, it's amazing the difference in culture. Just stand out, and I mean, let's be honest. If you want to pee out your back door, you can pee out your back door, which I love about it.
My son does it every morning.
Well, I like it. He's a good kid. So, what was the biggest adjustment for your family from going from the States to Japan?
I mean, the language barrier is pretty tough. Even though, Japanese people learn English all through high school, they never use it, so then they forget it really quick. So there's not a lot of English spoken. So getting around, going out to eat, going grocery shopping, kind of doing that stuff, it takes a while before you learn the ropes. Transportation here is crazy. I mean, there's a train that can take you pretty much anywhere. So figuring out that system. And Japanese culture is very introverted. So you don't mess with anybody else's life. You don't interfere with their life. You don't ask them how they're doing. If you don't know them, you don't really talk to strangers. Where in the States, you're on the train for a while. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. You have no problem just communicating with somebody. In Japan,
I do that at the grocery store. I like to random people.
Yeah, absolutely.
My wife hates it, but it's okay.
Right, yeah. But in Japan, it's very, very closed off. You stick to yourself. You kind of head down and just kind of follow where you're going and don't interfere with anybody else. So that's kind of tough because my wife and I, I'm more outspoken than she is, and I'm a little more outgoing. She kind of likes Japan for that reason because she's more of an introverted person, but I'm this outgoing person. I like to chat with random people, and it's just kind of a different culture. My kids are rowdy too, and their kids are very well behaved. So it's just.
Well, they're from Illinois. It's all right. I get it. Yeah. They're wild. They like to have fun. But Spencer, I do want to thank you today. Anything you want to add? Tell the people here back in the States who are watching and following you, following your career. So you got 2 more years in Japan with Yokohama. We wish you nothing but the best of luck. We do appreciate you joining us here on Behind the Mic, and we'll keep following you. Don't worry. We look forward to you coming back to the States maybe after 2 years.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun doing interviews, and it's a way for people back home to keep in touch and just kind of get a perspective of what's going on over here. Not a lot of people know, but I'm actually from Tuscola.
Right.
I've got family there, so I appreciate you doing the show and having me on because a lot of them will, get a chance to see my face and just know the perspective of what's going on here. So
I think your grandma drives a Ford Escape. Am I correct on that one?
It says "He is King" on it. That's hers.
Yes, I think I know the guy that sold it to her too. You're talking to him right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that tidbit. But
you probably sold my Uncle Mark his Ford truck too.
Well, I worked down at the dealership for a few years and enjoyed it. But tell you what, it's nice being home 8 to 5 and working at a bank. I do enjoy that even more. So,
sure, yeah.
Spencer, thank you very much. We'll be right back here on Behind the Mic. We're going to bring in the great one, Sam Erwin, to talk a little wrestling. So we'll be back after these messages.
Check out the all-new Ford of Tuscola. It's a small town feel with great big deals. Pre-owned vehicles starting at $24.95. Online at FordofTuscola.com or call 217-253-3353.
For 11 years, the Willow Branch Kennel has been offering outstanding pet boarding services to the people of Central Illinois. We treat each of our tenants like they're members of our own family, taking them out for walks and runs and making sure they're comfortable and loved. Let us look after your furry friends. Willow Branch Kennel. Call us today.
Ford of Tuscola has a large lot full of new and pre-owned vehicles. Check out their great financing, friendly staff, and professional service center. To help you get the most from your next vehicle, make the short drive to Tuscola and find a great deal on your next car or truck.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. I'm your host, Keith Gibson. I want to thank our special guest who came on today, Spencer Patton, Yokohama relief pitcher and World Series champion. I want to thank him for joining us. We'll catch up with him later on during the season, as he's invited me to reach back out to him to catch up and see how he's doing, as he just signed a 2-year extension with the Yokohama Baystars. But joining me back again, he's back. I know you can boo. Some people.
And you're welcome.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody's thrilled to have you back. Sam Erwin, ladies and gentlemen, back with us here on Behind the Mic, and we're gonna do kind of like we did the first segment. 5 more topics. We're gonna debate a little bit. We're gonna let you throw your comments out after the show, so we know what to expect next time, and we'll see if he gets invited back. Maybe no. He will be back. Sam will be back WrestleMania weekend for ready for this, a live show.
Oh, yeah.
Sports Bar Grill with a special guest who will remain a name for now. So it'll be great. But hey, we're gonna talk 5 topics again. We're gonna start with a little wrestling.
Oh,
we don't know anything about wrestling. Let me tell you, this is a topic that neither one of us
new to us. Yeah.
I've never been frog splashed through a table or hit on the top of the head with a chair busted open by this guy or anything. This guy, that one.
Yeah. Put the asses in the seats, all 400 of them.
It was more. Let's be honest. People loved us. People got a kick out of what we did, and it was fun.
I would hope.
We had fun doing it. So, all right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. A lot of people will like this topic, I think. First one is Ronda Rousey, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch. Twitter feud. It has been hot. It has been heavy. It has been downright mean. Those girls are getting after it and being real.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a fan of it?
Oh, absolutely. This reminds me of whenever, obviously scripted, all that stuff. Still, this feels a little bit real, and that's perfect. If you can give it, God, look at that. If you can give it at least a little authentic feel to it of, wow, these two really don't like each other. Maybe if it makes you question, if it blurs reality, and like, is it fake? Is it not? Do they really not like each other? It gets people talking. And obviously Becky is, great on the mic. Ronda's still got a ways to go because it takes a while. She's never done it before. It takes a while. Yeah. Right.
Great.
Right. Yeah. Greater. Anyway, so Ronda's struggled a little bit on the mic part, which will always come second, because she's a great athlete. She can pick that stuff up quickly. So that will come up until down the road. But this Twitter feed, I don't know who's writing it, but it sure feels real. Like Ronda's actually, looks like she's actually pissed, which now I've seen people questioning on there. What if Ronda snaps at WrestleMania and does like a shoot and it goes off script and it's like, oh my, what would happen then?
That's
but they've done a good job. They're building this wonderfully and they're getting people interested. And this is the thing too with Ronda Rousey is she's done this for MMA fights too. She does a good job of building and getting people interested in talking, even if she's got to be a bitch, even if she's got to be the bad guy. It doesn't matter. She knows how to sell a fight.
Like you.
Exactly.
We've talked about this a lot before. What WWE's done in the past has not worked. And these ladies, what they're doing are building their own paychecks.
Yep.
Because they get paid off of how many pay-per-view buys and views and everything for the WWE network are there. So they're building their own pocketbooks by doing this. Kind of like we did. I mean, we didn't make a dime, but we had views.
Check, yeah.
but we had views. We had people interested because if you don't have anybody interested, there's nobody in the seats. And there's nobody in the seats. You're in an empty arena. And if you're in an empty arena, you're not getting paid. So what they're doing is they're making their own checks. I love it. And there should be more of it.
Absolutely. Because it feels real and they're letting them be themselves, it almost seems like, instead of scripted, read this or do this. It feels authentic, which is huge.
Great points. Great points. Next topic. Spring training is in effect. Been to spring training, love spring training. The one question, I know you're not a baseball guy, but listen, I know you will like this. Tim Tebow, will he make the Mets opening day roster?
Ooh, opening day, no. During
Would
the
you
season
kiss
or
Tim
something-
Tebow right now if he was in your presence?
Would I what?
Would you kiss him? Right smack dab on the lips?
That's a topic for another day.
Okay.
It's but we'll talk about that later. Anyway, no, opening day, no. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I think at some point, because the Mets aren't very good, he would have been on the roster last year had he not gotten hurt. He broke his hand, I believe, or something like that, and he would have been on there because they were so bad and they tanked. And he could have played because it would have put some asses in the seats. But this year, you'd have to tell me. I don't follow much baseball.
I don't think he makes the opening day roster. I don't. I do think he might get called up late in the year again. He's got some improvement to make. But for him to do what he's done already, it's unbelievable.
Didn't he make the All-Star team, at that minor league level last year?
Yes. I mean, let's be real. The guy played 4 years of college football, played pro football, should have still be playing pro football in my mind.
That's a topic for another day.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah, with somebody else who doesn't love Tim Tebow so much, they worship him. But, you. But it's unbelievable, and I think he does everything the right way. And so if I had a boy, I've got a little girl, and I hope they grow up with the same morals and ethics that he does, just like her dad,
Jesus Christ.
Just silence falls down. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what he does this year. I'm rooting for him, big root for him. Spring training otherwise, I've been there. It was fun. I had a blast at spring training, my old man. I think it's neat to see all the players kind of interact with everybody and just kind of.
How's your Cubbies looking this spring so far?
We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Pitching staff is looking strong. I think the Cubs will be okay. I think the Cardinals have made some improvements. I think they'll be okay too. But it's a 162-game season. A lot of things can happen. So
the thing with Tim Tebow, before we stop, is what will get him on a roster is he has a ton of power. And you throw him a fastball, you groove one, he's going to put it about 450 feet up in the seats. So that's what will help get him to. If he can get that batting average around 280 or so, keep it pretty consistent, and hit several dingers, he will have no problem.
Anyway, all right. Next topic. We're gonna go number 3, and this isn't sports. It doesn't always have to be sports here behind them.
We're going to talk about it all, is what you told me.
We are. No politics. Never politics. You'll never hear politics on this show ever. Ever.
Probably for the best. For the best. Yeah.
Greatest rock band of all time? Guns N' Roses.
Jesus Christ. Water Pistols and Daisies? Are you kidding me? Oh, no. Everybody knows that the greatest rock band of all time
If you say Garth Brooks, you can end it now. We're done.
He's not rock and roll. No, Metallica. No doubt. And I was lucky enough to see him last summer, put on an incredible show. I'm going to see him in Louisville here this next weekend, and it's going to be indoors, so that should be something. But Metallica, with the number of hits and the way they kept going and all that, don't get me wrong, I like Guns N' Roses too, but when it comes
I like Metallica.
Yeah, but when it comes for me, the number one rock band, anytime I think about rock and roll, I think about Metallica, just because true rock band.
We'll agree to disagree on this one because, there's a lot of other bands that I like too, but I don't think anything beats a little GNR.
Yeah. Plus, Axl Rose right now looks like, I don't know, like a 65-year-old woman that's just lost in Macy's. I mean, he's fat. He's lost. He's just, too fat for his age. I mean, it's sad. And to watch him try to do something on stage now, just like go home.
It is. And hey, if you're listening out there, we want your opinion too. Make sure you comment or tweet us. Let us know what you think. Who's your favorite rock band? Or if you have any other comments on any of these topics, let us know. We want to hear from you. Definitely every week. We want to know your opinion. So
give us topics
coming up, Sam. Number 4, and this is back to wrestling. Because WrestleMania is coming up.
That's right.
You like that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
WrestleMania time is coming up. A little less than a month away. Do you prefer the nostalgia act coming back, What I'm talking about is guys who have done it multiple and multiple times, don't wrestle on a regular basis. Or would you
Right.
ever see the guys who are up and coming and given a shot to do that way?
Right. I think it's good to have a mixture of both, but not too much the old guys. Like, for instance, the opening to the WrestleMania a few years ago, whenever Hogan started it, Stone Cold came out and The Rock came out. After that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in wrestling. It was just awesome to see those three in the ring together, and it was a good opening. And then after that, they went away. Let the guys that are there every week busting their ass put on the show after that's what it's there for. What I don't like to see is when you see these old guys come out that aren't there every week that come out. I'm a huge fan of The Rock, as you know, but whenever he, buried that guy in under, 30 seconds because he had a match real quick, how does that help you going forward? It doesn't. Everybody's watching WrestleMania anyway. You don't need for these old guys to steal the show or take away from the young talent because we're going to watch anyway. Build up for the future.
All 8 hours.
Your young guys.
Yes. All 8 hours.
Yeah. Oh my God, it might be a bit much anymore. Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah. But you know what? We got a lot accomplished last year at WrestleMania. We built the bar here at the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
And this year is the day before my birthday instead of being on my birthday, so it's a great weekend.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm with you with that. I don't mind them coming out, having a little spot here and there, but stay away for the most part. I know we got Batista and Triple H coming up. Why? Just go away. Triple H, go behind the scenes, do what you're doing with NXT, and just stay there. Let some of these guys in NXT, let some of these younger guys who aren't getting a spot every week go out and shine. But they're not.
Now, I will say this.
And here's why, because they can't let go.
Well, there's that. There's the ego part of it. Triple H still likes to be in the show, as we know. But at least they built somewhat of a story. They're starting to build a story now with Triple H and Batista, how Raw ended, all that. Oh, my God, Batista attacked Flair, drug it, which was a great ending. First great ending to Raw I've seen in years. And but at least it got people interested once again, just like Ronda and Becky, like we talked about earlier. This is going to get people interested to see this, even if it is old guys. But like you said, is it needed? No. I mean, you've got so much talent on the roster anyway. Friggin' use them. I mean, why are you letting them sit in the back and let Batista come out, who's not going to stick around?
Right. Right. We'll get more to this on our live WrestleMania show, WrestleMania Sunday, April 7th, right here from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. So final topic of the day before we let everybody go and let you go finally.
You've loved every minute of it?
I have. Really, I have. We always have fun together. It's always a good time. Mine's got going and it's fun. But you ready for this one? This is what we're going to end on. What is the greatest sports movie of all time?
Ooh. You go first. Go ahead. I want to hear yours.
Well, I'm on a little level here.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to be Major League.
Okay.
Or Rudy.
Oh, boy.
And I'd almost have to say Rudy because Rudy makes me cry every time.
Every friggin' time I watch it, I could be 85, and when he gets that letter, and they finally accept it, Jesus. Somebody's cutting onions in the room every time without fail. I mean, when he reads that letter and he finally accomplishes that dream, oh, my God. I mean, just wow. Great story for the underdog, that's for sure. So, yep.
And yours is?
Mine, because I like comedies. I love so many sports movies. I mean, they're all great. But if you want to call it a sports movie, Caddyshack, just because of the humor. I mean, I love that movie. I've watched it so many times. I'll watch it forever. Yeah, Judge Smales is probably my favorite character on there, along with Bill Murray. But I just like the comedy aspect of it. Yeah, it has a little golf in there. But really, I mean, if it was about true sports and getting you motivated and overcoming or whatever, like Rocky IV, I mean, I know that sounds corny as hell, but man, like the training, the music off Rocky movies, I still listen to that when I go to the gym because it still reminds me when I was a kid and go to those movies. And it gets me motivated. I know it sounds weird, but
what is that? 30 years ago?
Yeah. Getting old. Well, getting older, but yeah, so those movies mean a lot to me. And I mean, just really any sports movie. There's so many good things you can draw from those movies and motivational and shows you can overcome adversity and all that stuff. But yeah, if I had to pick one that I would, if they said this is the only sports movie you can watch, I'd pick Caddyshack just for the humor of it. So
I'd probably go Rudy. Makes me smile, makes me happy, makes me cry.
Oh, the whole gamut. I mean,
Yep, all the emotions.
Yeah, yeah. Then your
Like
wife
last
walk in
case
and
of
make
it.
fun of you because you're crying at the movie.
I don't care. Sam Erwin, thank you very much for being my guest host this week. Thank you for being on the debut episode of Behind the Mic from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. As always, it's your pleasure to join me. And
yeah, I would like to say it's a pleasure, and I look forward to it, but I really didn't have a lot going on right now. So I was like, what the hell? I'll let me waste 30 minutes of my life. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad I can do that for you. No, we always have fun. We look forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks. Here in about a month. We'll see. You're coming up to visit for my 38th birthday.
Woo!
Yeah.
Boy, getting there, aren't you? Yeah.
Close. Always this close.
Uh-huh.
But we'll have some fun. We'll do a live show when you come up too. And
if I could, because I know
of
he's going to be
course.
watching, and hopefully someday he'll be on this show. I want to give a special shout out to John Yates, the man that has disappeared. He's like a Yeti. You just can't find him anymore. But when John Yates is watching, special shout out to John Yates. So
John Yates, yes. Lord, I won't say it now. I'll be nice. Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy and one of our great friends. So, Sam, have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for being on here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up our show for the day. And, of course, want to thank Sam. Want to thank Spencer Patton for joining us, the he's a World Series champion, former Chicago Cub and current Yokohama Baystar. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back here very soon. Make sure you check out cheapseatsbar.com. That's the website where you can hear this every time we go on. Order you a shirt because you're not cool if you don't have a shirt, right?
True. That's true.
But you can check out the events that go on. You can check out other things, old podcasts, a whole lot of other things going on there, and pictures. You can actually see how we turned my garage into a pretty cool place, if I do say so myself.
It is.
I'm
Nice.
pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and God bless. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye now.